picture or
Yes.
whatever.
This is Saturday fantasy baseball.
It's Sunday. Today's Sunday. It's looking like a beautiful day out.
Oh, there you go, Lady in the Legend.
Okay.
I think we're on the air. How about that?
Okay.
Is it 9 o'clock yet? It is, and we say at 9 o'clock, welcome aboard, everybody, on a lovely Sunday. Woo! There you go. What happened to Andy?
I had to get a cushion for my booty.
She needed a cushion for her booty. Okay, Boston Paul, good morning to you. Chris from Cambridge, SM King Turd, Zelmo. I know Eddie Hackman was here. James Caprion is here. And away we go. And we hope that the chat room fills up. Danny Fuller is here. Holy cow, we're ready to go. All right.
Rotorius.
Rotorius has just joined us, so good morning to Rotorius. All right, now you're ready, Andy. Are you ready? Because this is, it's starting to get to me. I'm talking about the injuries. What do you think?
Yeah, dude, a lot of injuries. We'll be talking about it, but I did see something I'd like to address right from the start, and I'm going to keep saying it throughout the whole...
Go ahead. You're probably wrong, but go ahead.
Well, look, first of all, I've been talking about this velocity thing for a couple years now, but I think there's more to it than just that. There's been a lot of debate going on. I mean, I'm always inciting debate on this topic with the velocity and stuff like that. And a lot of people feel like they have such good machinery, they have such great technology, they've been able to address these injuries early, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of people don't really think it's the velocity at all, but clearly it has to play in some sort of way with these injuries. But also yesterday that the guy that's in charge of the MLBPA, the Players Association,
yes,
put out a statement and blamed the entire thing on the pitch clock.
Interesting, very interesting.
So that is interesting. I think they're really trying to focus on just that one aspect because they want to get it changed. Obviously, the pitchers don't like it, and I mean that's a problem in itself because when one entity blames the whole thing on one specific issue,
it's trying to speed up the game in a number of different ways. And you know something, the game can't be speeded. It's got to go. I mean, big freaking deal. If we go 10, 15 minutes longer in any game, is that really going to affect anybody? We really think that a lot of the injuries, especially to the pitchers, are being caused by the pitch clock, as he said, and trying to speed up the game.
So from the players' point of view, and the Players Association clearly made it evident yesterday that they are blaming this on the pitch clock.
Right.
You go to Manfred, and he's not even going to want to acknowledge the situation because there's no chance that they change the rules immediately. If anything, if even they do change the rule back, it won't be till next year.
Yeah. Well, could you imagine baseball decides to go back and change all the rules that were maintained to speed up the game? Baseball has made so many blunders, including letting Oakland move to a stadium that doesn't even exist, and it's just very
Plus,
bad.
they said, we're not going to black out any games going forward, but that's bulldinky because they're still blacking out games, whether it's MLB or the local channels blacking out the games. Regardless of that, another interesting point of view that I saw this morning was, and of course they blame Trevor Bauer, but that's neither here nor there. The thing that they...
Who blamed Trevor Bauer?
The post that I'm talking about.
Yeah, but they blame Trevor Bauer?
They said it's all Trevor Bauer's fault, and it was attached to a clip of Tyler Glasnow from a couple years ago talking about how as soon as he stopped using the sticky stuff, he threw his elbow out. And I think out of all of the things that we've come up with so far, that sticky stuff has to be at the top of the list. I mean, you talk about the pitch clock. I mean, honestly, a pitcher needs to rest between pitches.
Yes.
That's a bunch of nonsense.
It's not a bunch of nonsense.
Okay.
It's what they grew up with.
But
what about, could it be that spring training has been a lot less? Do they need a longer spring training? It's got to be something, but it's not Trevor Bauer.
But you should see his face. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty good.
All right. So, but I do think that the sticky stuff has a lot to do with it. He was absolutely right when he talked about having the grip on the ball, meaning that you don't have to squeeze the ball so hard, which affects your whole arm.
But you can't have it's like allowing the spitball now.
MLB is
you
working.
Can't do it.
Well, 2 years ago, I remember reading that MLB had their own sticky stuff that they were working on to get a league-wide consensus, but the pitchers would have to use the MLB's manufactured sticky stuff. Why is that sticky stuff not out on the market yet? Why are they not giving that to every pitcher in baseball? If anything, that is something that MLB could actually do to try to subdue some of these injuries, because I'll tell you what, Gausman last night, Turd brought to my attention before anybody, his velocity was 4 miles down. The guy did not make it out of the second inning. He gave up a bunch of runs. He's the next one to go down. You can etch it in the table.
What about Max Fried? Is this a poor performance based on arm trouble?
No.
Well,
I'm going to talk about that later in the podcast.
Could be.
I do not think that about Max
Within
Fried.
1 week, Shane Bieber, Yuri Perez have needed Tommy John surgery. Spencer Strider has serious elbow concerns. Don't forget, Garrett Cole is still out until June. Pitching is brutal this year, okay?
And then you got, so who do you think is the best number one pitcher now in fantasy baseball? Turd has a draft today, by the way. So, the guy lists Corbin Burns, Zach Wheeler, and Cole.
I think it's Wheeler.
Okay.
Wheeler has now moved into the number one pitcher in baseball. And one of the things that makes
Wheeler's velocity is down too. It was 95.6.
But Wheeler was given away by the Mets, so he has to be the best pitcher in baseball, right? But it's Wheeler's velocity is down also.
Yes.
Wow.
It's been 96 pretty much the last 2 years straight. It's 93.8, so it's a couple miles an hour less than it was. Also, Burns and Reagans. I can't even imagine putting Reagans in as the top 3 pitcher in baseball.
Can't be.
I mean, this guy has hardly any experience whatsoever. You can't really... I mean, fine, do what you want, but Cole Reagans is not the top pitcher in baseball.
Good to see.
But both of these guys, Cole Reagans and Corbin Burns, both throw 96. This 96, 97 stuff, that's... When you're throwing your off-speed pitches at 90 miles an hour, you got a problem coming. There's just no way around it. The human arm is not built to throw this hard. There's nothing that you can do to make it better. It's going to continue to cause injuries no matter how much sticky stuff, no matter how much time a pitcher needs to rest between pitches.
Okay.
It's just a bunch of...
Leonard Donaldson says, is that Leonard Donaldson? I get him mixed up with Laura.
Yes.
Burns, Lopez, Castillo. SM King Turd says, trade Reagans now. I absolutely agree. Trade Reagans now. But Wheeler has a lot of playoff innings on that arm. But I'll tell you, we say hello to Anthony D.B. Miller. We say hello to Dancer Premier, Aiden and Dennis Timko. So Laura is here. Leonard Donaldson is here. I'm here. Andrea's here. Everybody's good. Go ahead. Kevin you're right. Gausman, I just noticed, threw only 91 and 92 on his fastball. So he's another guy. So you got to watch out for Gausman. You got to watch out for Fried. He's been awful. You know, he was one of my favorite pitchers.
I'm not going to... No, I disagree with you on Fried 100%.
Why? Well, I'm not saying he's hurt, but his performance indicates something is not right.
I'll tell you why.
Why?
Okay. So far this year, he didn't make it out of the first inning in his first start of the season against the Phillies, and he barely made it out of the first inning yesterday. So far this year, in 2 starts, 5 innings, 10 earned runs.
That's not Max Fried.
The Braves are still 2-0 in those games, but take a look at his fastball. It is not nearly the injury-inducing fastball. This is what we call a soft tosser in Max Fried, and I'm telling you, they're the safest bets in fantasy. This guy has a batting average on balls in play of .524. He is being extremely unlucky right now. Grab Max Fried from anybody that's willing to trade him. You got a better chance of Max Fried being healthy for the rest of the season than any of these guys that are throwing 97, because no matter what anybody tells me, I've already believed it before the rash of injuries, but I will continue to believe it until some healthcare professional tells me that I'm wrong when I say that your arm is not built to throw this hard for this many innings.
Okay, there you go. Also, but if you want to get a pitcher, now's the time to get Walker Buehler.
He's already taken, Leonard.
Well, I'm sure he is, but you never know. You could trade for him. Yeah, look, he gave up a bloop single with 2 outs, and that ended the night for Buehler. He retired 14 of 16 batters, 4 2/3 innings, 6 strikeouts. Look, he's been very effective.
That was at Oklahoma City. You have to remind people that's in the AAA.
Yeah, okay, but he's getting swings and misses.
Yes, he's getting lots of swings and misses. He's induced 12 whiffs on 65 pitches. Another guy averaging 93.8 miles an hour on his 4-seamer, which is down 1.4 miles an hour from what he averaged during the 2022.
Oh, wait a second. Danny Fuller is saying that baseball should be like softball. You should throw underhand. Okay, next. Go ahead.
There's got to be a happy medium on this.
I'm
okay,
so sorry.
93 miles an hour, that's about right. Yeah, I love a 93-mile-an-hour guy. You know I do. Buehler is expected to make at least 2 more rehab starts before joining the Dodgers rotation. And, of course, the next thing that the person says is that they hope that he will rediscover a little more velocity between now and then. And I say, he doesn't need it. Just come on. Whatever happened to throwing all your pitches when necessary? Yeah. Well, you're throwing your off-speed pitches 90 miles an hour. You're just an accident waiting to happen.
You know, last night I went to sleep and I couldn't fall asleep right away. I had the radio on and the Dodger game was on, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and I listened to this. Gives up a leadoff double. Then he loaded the bases on a walk and an infield single, and with no outs. And I heard this on the radio, and I couldn't fall asleep after this. He escaped 3. He got 3 consecutive strikeouts. 2 of them on called third strikes. He went to the curveball.
Twice he went to that curveball.
And he got 3 strikeouts. It was phenomenal. I wish I could have seen it somehow, but listening to it was just as good. You know, sometimes it's better to listen to something on the radio than watch it on TV. Yeah. Some of these radio guys are really good with their descriptions. They make it much more exciting, but still, Yamamoto was terrific. Bases loaded, 3 consecutive strikeouts.
Yeah, so the Yankees are also pretty good. The Yankees, finally, Stanton hits a homer yesterday.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, I mean, the tidbit is that the Yankees are 32-4, including the playoffs, when Stanton and Judge homer in the same game.
Yep, that's right.
So, of course, I mean, it's not that hard to figure out. If Stanton and Judge are hitting homers, the chances of winning the game are good.
You have a good chance to win the game if your team gets 2 homers. Exactly. It doesn't matter who it is.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. So, Giancarlo Stanton, 13 strikeouts in his first 22 plate appearances this season. The last and only Yankee to do that in their first 22 plate appearances to start a season was Bob Turley in 1958.
Bob Turley, number 9.
And Bob Turley was a pitcher, dude.
Number 19. He was a home run hitting pitcher. He was a good hitter. And Bob Turley, he was one of the first pitchers to have the no windup. How about that one? He started, he didn't wind up. Bob Turley, okay? He was the pitcher. Anybody remember Bob Turley? I do. He was a good one, okay? Go ahead, Andy, go ahead.
So never before in MLB history has there been more pitching talent on the injury list at the same time. There are 16 Cy Young's pitchers. Okay, hold on. This season, there are 16 active Cy Young winners. Okay, 13 of the 16 are injured, including the last 5 American League winners. All right, there's a ton of injuries. And this list goes on and on with pitchers being injured. I've already told you guys that it's there's
all right.
I've already told you guys that 70% of the injured list is pitchers.
Yes.
And you got guys like Alcantara, Shane Bieber, Kyle Bradish, Garrett Cole, DeGrom, Giolito, Gonsolin, Sonny.
That's pretty good.
You just
Sonny
can't
Gray.
stand to say something, can you?
Clayton Kershaw, Lodolo, go ahead, you keep up.
No, I'm just going to sit here and try to interrupt you, Leonard.
All right, Dustin May, McClanahan. Look at all these pitchers. John Means, Ohtani, Perez, go ahead.
John Means, dude, is he included? I mean, we might as well include freaking Strasburg in
Strasburg, I got one. Yeah, Strasburg just retired.
Yes, and he's still making a shitload of money.
Yeah, and they're paying him off. But
okay, but one thing about Sonny Gray, and I am a proud owner of Sonny Gray, I'm going to get Montgomery and Gray back at about the same time. Hang on tight, you guys. I have been just miserable at my teams doing so horribly, but I got guys like Friedel. I have both the Lows, Josh and Nathaniel Lowe. I have a bunch of injuries that are coming back soon, so I try not to be too depressed over the fact that I'm in last place in teams. But Sonny Gray was really pestering his team to let him come back and pitch before he did a rehab start in the minors. They said that he cannot do that, so they're expecting the rehab this week. And next weekend, Sonny Gray should be back. Montgomery is pestering to be back to get some starts, and he also is doing rehabs. I think both these two will be back soon, and that will make me happy. I don't know why I expected to wake up with all the injuries to other teams this morning and have my team be moving up the standings so quickly.
Yeah,
but it doesn't happen that quick.
A lot of crazy stuff. There are 3 pitchers that left the pitching-rich St. Louis Cardinals and actually got off to strong starts right after leaving the Cardinals. You got Jordan Hicks, who's been striking out everybody. Finally, Jack Flaherty, Tyler O'Neill, off to strong starts after leaving the Cardinals. And you wonder if the Cardinals are cursed in any way. But there was what bullpen?
What?
All right, let me throw it out to the chat room. What bullpen has the best ERA by relief pitchers so far this year? All right, it's 0.93. There's one team that's got an 0.93 ERA just from their relief pitcher. Come on, chat room. Who else? Okay,
let's talk about Heston Kierstad while the chat room puts in their guesses for the team with the ERA under 1.
Relief pitchers.
The team with the bullpen under 1. ERA, it's only one team that has a bullpen.
Team under 1. And who has the highest ERA? So we're looking for the lowest ERA among relief pitchers, and we're looking for the highest ERA among relief pitchers.
Okay, Turd says Milwaukee. Milwaukee is not there. They have actually, their bullpen has a 4.56 ERA for Milwaukee, but interesting. This is if you guys think about some of the teams that are doing a committee type thing, you will come up with the answer here. This is Boston Paul says the Yankees. The Yankees are not. The Yankees have a 2.01 ERA among bullpen. Houston, not the highest, but close to it. They have a 6.58 ERA. Rangers, no, Turd, you know better than that. The Texas Rangers do not have the highest. They have a 3.57 ERA for their bullpen, and he says by Rangers he means Jose Leclerc.
Yeah, that's true. All right,
while they're guessing, let them guess a little longer.
Go ahead.
Heston Kierstad.
Yes.
You missed this one.
All right, go ahead.
It's worth talking about.
He's on another planet.
The Red Sox, no, they're not the lowest. The Red Sox are
no.
not the lowest, but they're close.
Let him guess. Last night, Heston Kjerstad went 2 for 4, hit another homer, a single, and drove in 3 RBIs. And I'll got to tell you, he's going to force Baltimore's hand. 6 home runs, 21 RBIs through 6 games. Anybody in the chat room have Heston Kjerstad, and how much did you pay for him?
Mitchell got it. Detroit.
All right.
Tell him what it is, Leonard.
Mitchell,
0.93 for Detroit.
0.93 for the Detroit Tigers.
He thinks Philly has the highest, and that's close, but no cigar on that one.
No cigar.
It's an American League team.
That's right. Now let's just read something very interesting. Kjerstad is ready. Everything is interesting, but there's something in the chat room by Anthony D.B. Miller. He says, growing up, I probably would have played baseball 12 months a year, but it wasn't an option. It was football, baseball, and you know what? I'll tell you something. I used to play, so it's all about the weather. What we played a lot of as a kid, we played a lot of punch ball, okay?
What's punch ball?
With a little Spalding ball, and you punch it.
Is that wiffle?
No bat. It's just your hand. You take it. It's called punch ball. Now the other thing that
you hit it with your hand.
You hit it with your hand. You throw it up and bingo, and you hit it
with a fist.
With a fist, yeah. Oh, that's how we remember that. How many people played punch ball? All right, Andy has no idea what punch ball is.
No, I don't.
That's ridiculous. Come on, you got to know what punch ball is, right, Big Al? Punch ball.
3 out of 4. Heston's 3 out of 4 exit velocities were over 104 miles an hour.
Yeah.
He's going to force Baltimore's hand at some point, okay?
He's going to be a player. Okay.
Now, moving on.
What else did I also play? I played stick ball with a stick, not a bat. And when we didn't have enough players, okay, we played first, second, and home. We didn't play left field. Everything had to be hit to right field, and it was first base, second base, and home. That's how we played with a 4-man team on each side. We did anything we could to play baseball, but we couldn't play in the bad weather. Go ahead. Nolan Shanuel, did you talk about him? Is legendary on base.
Now this really sucks for him.
Why?
Because
oh yeah, you kidding me? We talked about this yesterday. If an event is changed, like the MLB decided to make a scoring change. All right, 7 days ago, it was ruled a hit, but now changed to an error, and that's killed his legendary on base streak.
It sucks.
Once again, I'll ask the question: if a play is changed from a hit to an error or something else, does your league automatically change it in your standings?
Yeah. Well,
not everybody does. Okay. And what about if you do it? Is anybody still doing it by hand? Okay.
Oh, please.
Yeah, I don't know. No, there's no reason why you should.
But you used to, right?
Oh, we did it by hand. Okay.
And then you mailed everybody a thing in the mail.
Well, we used North Shore software, and the big deal was when he did it with a computer, and I forget his name, but he did it, and then he started mailing it out, and that was the first time fantasy baseball players jumped for joy, because we used to do the stats, and you could check 2 teams. All right, that was the rules. Any team could check 2 teams anytime they wanted. Go ahead.
Oh, it was on the honor system?
On the honor system, that's right.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was. Hey, look, we played, we tried, we did everything we could, and then all of a sudden the game took off. And it was because of the stat services that came around, okay?
Okay, so what's more shocking? All of these injuries or Kenley Jansen looking like this?
Oh, yeah. You're right. Keep going.
Can I finish my...
Yeah, your fucking sentence. Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish it.
Or Kenley Jansen looking like the safest closer in baseball.
Is he the safest closer in baseball?
I don't know.
I don't know if he is or not, but certainly most of us, just said that Kenley Jansen was done.
Okay, so back to Steven Strasburg.
Yeah, go ahead.
He signed a $245 million contract in 2019. This might go down as the worst contract ever signed.
Oh, God.
And he threw 530 pitches in the big leagues after that $245 million contract, which makes it $462,000 per pitch.
That's ridiculous, right? Ridiculous. It's almost ridiculous.
And the contract was uninsured, so it left the Nationals on the hook for the whole thing.
That is just crazy.
What does this mean? Pull muscle, not fat. What does that mean?
I think players should start
getting fat,
building up themselves with fat. You've heard of pulled muscles, right? Have you ever heard of pulled fat,
dude?
What?
You know that you're ridiculous.
I know. All right, go ahead.
So another thing about the Cardinals, how they give up all these pitchers and they do good. What about Tyler O'Neill?
Yeah.
He came from the Cardinals, right?
He's been on a tear.
Now he's on the Red Sox. His first 7 games, he had 28 plate appearances, batting .409 with a .536 on base percentage, 4 home runs. He's never really been a strikeout pitcher, but he's striking out like half the time that he's walking. He walks 11 or 18% of the time, and he only strikes out 10% of the time. He's got a 306 weighted runs created plus, and you know the league average is 100. He's 1 for 1 in stolen bases, and he's striking out less than ever, walking more than ever, and it's got to be the Cardinals' curse. They used to be the best. They used to be the best organization.
That's right. But the Cardinals have a curse. By the way, as Elmo said, he would get his stats in the mail That's right. We got it every Wednesday. I use North Shore Software. Does anybody remember North Shore Software? They were one of the first, if not the first.
Nobody remembers North Shore Software unless they're on Long Island, Leonard.
No, he was across the country. He was one of the first. So he did it all. By the way, let me just get
Anthony D.B. Miller. Were you at Comerica Park for opening day? I love the flag on the field, the national anthem. It's so beautiful there. What a great ballpark. You know, they're one of the few ballparks that consistently is sold out, even when their team sucks. Lenny and I were able to go to a game at Comerica Park, and it was after they were already eliminated from making the playoffs. We stayed at the casino right across the street, but the ballpark was full of fans, even though the Tigers had already been knocked out of the playoffs. Do you remember that? Staying at the casino across the street?
Absolutely.
It was a little bit of a sketchy walk from the casino to the ballpark.
It wasn't that good. I mean, we loved
it. We loved the hotel. We loved the fans, right?
We found the best area ballpark, I'll say, was Cincinnati, right?
One of the top,
One of the tops.
But PNC with the cobblestones outside.
Yep, that's right.
I mean, the people were so friendly there.
Cincinnati's got a lot of great little restaurants and bars right outside the stadium, and it was a great place to be. All right, here you go. Everybody ready? 631-406-7141. The number is there. You can give us a call. And yes, we used to listen to, we used to use the USA Today. They had all the stats. I'll tell you, it was really unbelievable. Right?
Excuse me.
It was just incredible.
Anyway, Max Fried is a steal. You should make trades for him immediately. He's a 90. He's a slow tosser, which is a positive thing.
I disagree. I think Max Fried is another one who's going to say he's hurt.
He's never had... Look, his velocity is not down.
It doesn't matter. Max Fried was my favorite pitcher, okay?
I know. You loved him. When we saw him in Arizona Fall League, he was the best thing going that year.
Yeah.
We stayed for a whole month, and Lenny went to games every day. I don't know how he did it, because it was 100 degrees outside, and I couldn't even sit out there without feeling nauseous. But he went to every game that Max Fried was in, and every other game, too. That was fun, right?
5 innings, 10 earned runs, and 2 starts. But here's the great thing. The only stat that matters, the Braves are 2-0 in those 2 games.
Yeah, well, he's not getting no wins.
No, he's not getting any wins. But,
did you see Clint Hurdle apologize to fantasy managers the other day?
No, I didn't.
At a press conference?
I didn't hear that at all.
Because of Foley and Ling, he is like, I know it's not great for fantasy.
Oh, he did say
for
that?
For people that love
That's
fantasy.
Fantastic. That is fantastic. And I'll tell you something. It's about time that Major League Baseball, I'm not saying they should change any rules or anything, but it's time that they recognize fantasy baseball, because it's been a big reason why the sport is so popular, okay? And
do you know what I noticed on Quick Pitch?
Go ahead.
They used to be sponsored by DraftKings. Now they're sponsored by FanDuel.
Oh, okay.
It's really strange, but everything's about gambling. Mason Miller's thrown 29 pitches at 100-plus miles an hour this season, which is 12 more than anyone else in MLB.
Miller. Wow.
And he's a guy that's going to get some multiple innings. Okay, now the Oakland Athletics are not getting a lot of save opportunities, and so they still need to keep this guy stretched out. He's being afforded work in alternate situations to keep him stretched out, and his arm was very lively on Tuesday. He threw 6 pitches of at least 101 miles an hour and has back-to-back 2-inning appearances, so he could really be an effector, mop up a couple of wins perhaps.
Yeah.
Is that bothering you?
No, it's not. I have to have my ring cut off. All right, but anyway, go ahead. Now, have we ever been to Wrigley Field?
Mm-hmm.
We have been to Wrigley Field.
Yes, don't you remember it's $50 to park?
I remember. First time the Cubs have eclipsed an attendance of at least 41,000 for any game at Wrigley Field in April, opening day included, since 2017.
A.J. Smith-Shawver is the best to take Strider's rotation spot, according to Mitch Hartson, and I know Turd loves to hear that, because Turd was a big fan of Smith-Shawver last year. I actually drafted the guy in one of our best ball leagues. I hope it's his time, but he's good at going deep into games, and he strikes out a lot of batters, so we'll see what happens with full Smith-Shawver.
Come on, everybody. We're waiting for a call. 631-406-7141. Surely somebody's got a phone call to make.
Nobody needs to call us, okay?
What happens if Lars Nootbaar calls? He started the season with a pair of fractures in his rib cage. Edmonds been dealing with pain in his surgically repaired right wrist. Carlson sprained an AC joint in his left shoulder, but Nootbaar's supposed to return, and that could provide a boost to the club's production in the outfield. He's hit a solid .247, but still, he's got a walk rate of almost 15%. Nootbaar coming back, so don't forget, if you have Lars Nootbaar, see if you can get him. Go ahead.
Boston Paul, you could put everybody in the standings. I'm not even showing up on there. Neither is Lenny. So come on, man. It's not just about you.
What did he put?
The standings in our best ball league, but he only put the top of the standings.
Oh,
that means we're not in it.
Well, I don't know. I haven't looked, but I mean, I'm telling you, because I'm scared. I'm scared to look, okay? But still.
Carlos Estevez earned a save over the Red Sox yesterday, striking out one batter in a perfect inning. He entered to face the heart of Boston's order in the 9th inning, but he handled the pressure very well. He retired all 3 batters that he faced on 15 pitches. He's got his 3rd save of the year, and so far he's been excellent with just 1 base runner and 0 runs allowed over 3 innings. You know, he did struggle in the second half of last season, which is why a lot of people were hesitant to go for Estevez. I drafted him, and also because he's on the Angels, and people don't like to draft closers from teams that don't win. But even the worst teams get 60 wins.
Yep, that's right. So Estevez, who struggled in the second half, but he appears to have the closer role locked up for the Angels. So if you
Jose Siri 0 for 2 with 2 walks and 2 stolen bases yesterday.
He's a very underrated
he
player.
He didn't get any hits.
But he steals bases.
He does steal bases.
He does a lot that
did
people
take
don't
a walk.
realize. And until this year...
He's already got 6 stolen bases.
I really didn't pay much attention to him, okay?
He's in the tie for the Major League lead in stolen bases right now. With who? For some reason, it's escaping me.
Second Terang, I think.
Yeah, Bryce Terang.
Come on, everybody. We need a call. It's we were counting on calls 631-406-7141. And this is how I was.
What's wrong with me? Am I not a good host with you?
This is how I was when I was growing up, and I kept waiting for girlfriends to call. So
your friend Eric called instead every day.
I kept saying, "Come on, girls, it's time to call the legend." All right, and they never called. All right? So maybe I better stop that. But yeah, Jose Siri, 0 for 2, 2 walks, 2 stolen bases.
Thank you, Boston Ball. You got the rest of it.
His fantasy value.
Oh, look at me.
What? Where
I'm
were you?
moving up 8th.
Are you? Where am I?
In 11th.
Oh man.
But there's 13 in this league, so you're not as bad as Eddie or Daniel the Hulkster.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to talk about?
Hap is below me. Oh, I gotta tease Hap now. King Hap.
The stolen bases are keeping series value afloat. He's only hitting .214, 1 homer, and a 33% strikeout rate. But I still say, as a 4th outfielder in your 5-team outfield, he's worth a fantasy pickup. Jose Siri. I
think that baseball needs to get that dang sticky stuff out of manufacturing and into the pitcher's hands. They made it, of course, MLB is such greedy bastards. They retired Chief Wahoo from the Cleveland Indians. They own that logo, and they refuse to give up the rights for that logo so somebody else could make some money off of it, because people are still going to buy cheap Wahoo stuff.
Really?
Anyways, they refuse to allow any sticky stuff, but in the meantime, they're creating their own sticky stuff, and that was over 2 years ago, and I would like to tell MLB to get that stuff to the pitchers, because at least it will show the fans that they're trying, and the players, okay? The pitchers, they deserve to have something to grip the ball better. Even the batters say they would much rather have the sticky stuff on the ball than have wild pitches in the cold weather.
I don't think it's possible to have sticky stuff and try to figure out if it's the MLB sticky stuff or it's somebody else's sticky stuff. I think it makes things very, very confusing.
Well, at least MLB would be giving pitchers an option to use other than the
but
stuff.
But you don't know if they're using it or using something else. What are they going to do? Bring out a machine out there to test it and make sure it's the right stuff?
Well, they could make it a specific color that no other team has.
Well, what they could do is they could stop with these ridiculous rules of trying to shorten the game. I don't know one person. I know it's nice if you have shorter games because you get home earlier, all right? And that's bull dinky. I say play the game. Don't rush the pitchers, because that is part of the problem. Pitchers have a routine. They've been rushed, and they've been asked to pitch quicker than they're ready. And you know something? If this is true, and if they try to make some changes, it's going to be more bedlam in baseball than ever before.
Okay, Laura, here's something for you. If you're going to the game, I see the Mets Twitter. They're telling everybody to root big for Lindor because it's working for other teams. It worked for the Phillies when the fans cheered on Trey Turner. It even worked to get the lowly Anthony Rendon hit, finally, his first hit since last July. But the Angels fans are the most positive. They circulated something saying we're going to cheer loud for Anthony Rendon in the hopes that he will get a hit. Now, the Mets fans, instead of dogging on Lindor all the time, let's cheer for Lindor. And also,
cheer for me.
His wife is a beautiful lady, and she's getting hate from people. It's just a bad look for Mets fans everywhere. The Mets fans need to be nicer to the players. Don't boo. Cheer.
I'm going to be nice to the chat room. Anthony D.B. Miller.
I know Laura cheers anyway.
Big Al, Boston Paul, Chris from Cambridge. That's a premiere. Whoa, Daniel Ferrara has snuck snuck in. Good morning, Daniel Ferrara.
Daniel the Hulkster was up late watching wrestling, I bet.
Yeah, I bet he was. Dennis Stimko, Aiden is here. James Caplion, Laura, Leonard Donaldson, Merrill, and Mitchell, both sitting together. You got Rotorius, you got SM King Third. Look at this crowd. Timothy, my hooker, Zelmo, and a great crowd of guests. And come on, everybody. We thank you so much for your support, your participation. Anybody have any questions? We're going to stay on.
Another bit of news.
Wait a second. For another minute or so we can answer your questions. 631-406-7141.
Lenny's grandson made the varsity team.
Who?
Your grandson.
Oh, my grandson out in Chicago made the varsity. He's not even in high school yet.
Yes, he is.
I think he's a senior. Oh, anyway, he's a freshman. He made the high school hockey team.
He's a sophomore, okay.
As a goalie, following in his father's footsteps, okay?
Yes, Zelmo would be proud because Zelmo...
Right.
Oh, wait, is today the last day for the Zelmo Hockey League? You got David and Goliath with Malpella and his nephew against Zelmo, who knows everything about hockey. And we're rooting for either team to win because we like everybody. But
well, thank you, everybody.
Good luck today to Zelmo and Malpal.
We appreciate you guys. Tremendous. You guys and girls, men, women, and children. Call us if you have any questions during the course of the day. I'm begging for phone calls.
You sound so desperate.
I am desperate. Okay.
For what?
For a phone call. I want to talk to the people. All right.
You're the man of the people.
Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, I'll be here. Okay? Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.